He lived in a world most people only dream about: private jets, luxury towers, and deals worth millions. To the world, he had everything. But inside, there was a silence money could never fix. Every day felt the same: fake smiles, endless meetings, and an emptiness that followed him home. Then one afternoon, on a dusty roadside filled with smoke and noise, he took a single bite from a small food stall run by a struggling woman. And something changed. Not just his mood, but his heart. Because in that simple moment, he felt something he hadn't felt in years. So how did a roadside food seller change the life of a billionaire forever? The sun hung heavy over Lagos, spreading heat across the restless city like a silent weight. The streets were alive. Danfo buses screeched as they fought for space, drivers shouted over each other, and hawkers moved between cars, their voices rising above the chaos. The air carried everything at once: dust, smoke, and the rich, irresistible smell of food cooking over open fire. Right beside a cracked roadside gutter, under an old mango tree that refused to die, stood a small food stall. Nothing fancy. Just a wooden table worn by time, 3 plastic chairs, and 2 blackened pots sitting over a charcoal stove, their flames dancing under rising smoke. A faded hand-painted sign hung above it: simple, but proud: rice, beans, stew, made with heart. People stopped by without thinking: workers in a hurry, students counting coins, drivers chasing a moment of rest. And in the middle of all that noise, that tiny stall stood quietly, like a small piece of warmth in a city that never slowed down. Behind that small stall stood a woman life had tested, but never broken. Her name was Amina. In her late 20s, with tired eyes that carried silent battles, and a smile that refused to give up. Her scarf was loosely tied, her apron marked with stains of long days, but the way she moved, fast, focused, and full of care, told you everything you needed to know. This wasn't just a job. This was survival. Every morning before sunrise, she lit that same charcoal fire and stood there till the city slowed down. No complaints. No excuses. Just quiet strength. But what truly set her apart was not her food. It was her heart. One afternoon, a young boy stepped closer, his school uniform faded, his voice unsure. "Auntie, this is all I have." He placed a few small coins on the table. Amina looked at them, then at him. Without hesitation, she served him a full plate. Rice, beans, stew, and a little extra. The boy froze. "Auntie, my money." "Keep it," she said gently. "Just come back tomorrow stronger." The boy smiled, but Amina had already turned back to the fire. Because while others saw a small roadside stall, she was building something bigger. A dream that the world hadn't noticed yet. Across the same crowded road, far from the smoke and noise, a sleek black luxury SUV stood still, its tinted windows hiding a world completely different from the one under the mango tree. Inside sat a man who had everything. His name was Adrian Okoye, a self-made billionaire, owner of tech empires, luxury towers, a man whose decisions moved millions overnight. To the world, he was success, power, control. But in that moment, he looked tired. His phone buzzed endlessly beside him, calls, messages, deals waiting for his approval. Just minutes ago, he had walked out of a high-rise office, glass walls, sharp suits, expensive smiles. A place where everyone spoke, but no one truly listened. Adrian leaned back slowly, loosening his tie as his eyes drifted outside. He watched people crossing the street, laughing freely, arguing loudly, living without pressure. And then, his gaze stopped. On that small roadside stall, he saw a man take a bite of food, pause, and smile. A real smile. Not practiced. Not forced. Adrian's expression changed slightly. When was the last time he had felt something that simple? For the first time that day, the noise inside his head grew quiet, and without fully understanding why, he opened the door and stepped out of his perfect world. Adrian stepped out of the car, and the noise of the street wrapped around him instantly. No one noticed him. No one cared who he was. For the first time in a long while, he was just another man crossing the road. He walked toward the small stall, his polished shoes slowing slightly as they touched the dusty ground beneath the mango tree. Amina glanced up briefly, her hand still moving as she stirred the pot. "Good afternoon," he said. She smiled, simple, effortless. "Good afternoon, sir." "You're welcome." No surprise. No change in tone. Just normal. "What do you recommend?" he asked. She chuckled softly. "Everything here is good, but today, rice and beans with stew, it can fix a bad day." Something about her confidence made him sit down without thinking. Moments later, she placed the plate in front of him. Steam rose slowly, carrying a rich, smoky aroma that felt strangely familiar. Adrian picked up the spoon and took his first bite. And everything paused. The taste wasn't just food. It was memory. Warm, comforting, like something from a time when life was simpler, lighter. His shoulders relaxed. His mind went quiet. For the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about business or pressure. He was just feeling. Amina watched him carefully. "Is it okay?" she asked softly. Adrian looked up, his expression different now. "It's perfect." And in that quiet moment, something invisible connected them. Not through status, but through something real. The afternoon carried on quietly, plates moving, voices blending into the street. Then a small shadow stepped closer. A young boy, his school uniform faded, his slippers worn thin. He placed a few coins on the table, hesitant, almost ashamed. "Auntie, this is all I have." Amina looked at the coins, then at his face. For a moment, she said nothing. Then gently, she picked up a plate. "Rice, beans, stew." And just before handing it over, she added a little extra. The boy's eyes widened. "Auntie, my money." "Keep it," she said softly. "Just promise me you'll eat well and grow strong." The boy nodded, smiling as he walked away. Across the table, Adrian watched in silence. Something inside him shifted. Not because of the food, but because of her. Because in a world where everything had a price, she chose kindness for free. The moment of peace didn't last. A loud car screeched to a stop nearby, music blasting as a well-dressed man stepped out. He glanced at the stall, his face twisting with disgust. "People still eat here," he scoffed loudly. "Right beside a gutter." The air shifted. Amina stayed calm, her hand still but steady. "I'm not forcing anyone to eat, sir," she said quietly. The man laughed. "This is why people like you never move forward." Adrian's spoon stopped. Slowly, he stood up. "Enough," he said. The man turned. "And who are you?" Adrian stepped closer, calm but firm. "Someone who respects hard work," he replied. A brief silence. "If you don't like the place," Adrian continued, "then leave. But don't insult someone who's trying." The man hesitated, then turned away without another word. Amina looked at Adrian, surprised, because for the first time, someone had stood up for her. Days slowly turned into a pattern. Adrian kept coming back, same road, same stall, same seat. And every time he arrived, Amina would notice. "You again," she teased. "And your food again," he replied with a faint smile. At first, their conversations were simple. Traffic, weather, the chaos of the city. But slowly, those small talks began to change. They became deeper. "One day," Amina said softly, "I won't be here forever. I'll have a real kitchen, my own place." Adrian looked at her carefully. "And you believe that?" She smiled. "I have to. It's the only thing keeping me going." There was a quiet pause. No noise mattered in that moment, because somewhere between those conversations, something real had started to grow. Not loud, not rushed, just genuine. It happened on a day that felt completely normal. Amina was serving plates, her hands moving quickly, just like always. The fire crackled. Customers talked. Then suddenly, a black luxury car pulled up beside the stall. This time, it didn't blend into the noise. It demanded attention. Two sharply dressed men stepped out, their eyes scanning the area before walking straight toward Adrian. "Sir," one of them said urgently, "the board is waiting. We can't delay any more." The word "sir" cut through everything. Amina's hands froze. Slowly, she turned. Her eyes moved from the men to the car, then back to Adrian. Something didn't feel right anymore. Adrian stood up, but this time, he wasn't the same man. The calm stranger was gone. In his place stood someone powerful. "Amina, I can explain." "Explain what?" she cut in, her voice shaking. Her eyes searched his face. "You come here every day. You sit here like everyone else." Her voice dropped. "And now they're calling you sir?" Silence. "Who are you, Adrian?" He hesitated, and that hesitation said everything. Her heart sank. "You lied to me," she whispered. Not loud, just broken. The street noise faded, as if the world itself stepped back. Amina took a slow step away, her eyes still fixed on him. "Why?" she asked softly. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" Adrian exhaled, his voice quieter than before. "Because I didn't want to lose this." She frowned. "Lose what?" Us, these moments," he said. He looked at her, honest, unguarded. "I didn't lie, Amina. I just wanted to feel normal again." Her eyes trembled. "And what about me?" she asked. "You think I can't handle who you are?" "That's not it," he replied quickly. "You made me forget everything, the pressure, the expectations, the noise that never stops." His voice softened. "When I sit here with you, I'm not a billionaire." A pause. "I'm just human again." Silence filled the space between them. Heavy, real, undeniable. Amina looked away, trying to steady her heart. Because in that moment, she wasn't just hurt anymore. She was confused by something deeper. Something she didn't expect to feel. Days later, things didn't go back to how they were. They changed. Not suddenly, but quietly. Adrian kept coming back, not as a stranger hiding behind simplicity, but as someone willing to be real. And Amina, she didn't walk away. Because she saw something beyond the truth he hid. She saw the man he became when he was with her. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the city, he looked at her and said, "Let me help you build your dream, not for you, but with you." Amina smiled. Not because of his money, but because of his heart. And sometimes, the richest hearts are found in the poorest places.